You should. This one's at least, it's not going to be a hard one, I don't think. That's right. With the president.
Yeah, with the president, Biden.
All right, here we go. Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Commissioners and invite you all to rise for an invocation with Joe Garkovich from Mercy Today Ministries. And please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for another day in which to serve you. And we lift up in prayer this group this morning as they do this important work. We ask that you would bless them with courage and compassion and wisdom to make the right decisions for all that are involved. And we'd also like to lift up our county employees today, especially those that are out in this weather. Keep them safe, watch over them, and guide them in the performance of all their duties. And all these prayers we send to you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Joe.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
Commissioner McPhail.
Present. Present.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Simpleman.
Present.
Thank you. Up next is the approval of today's agenda. I am not aware of any changes we need to make.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve the agenda for today.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McPhail.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Consent agenda. I will note we are not scheduling a public hearing on today's consent agenda out into the future. When we do schedule those, we like to give folks a heads up. So we have none of those today.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda.
Sorry.
I'm talking to myself over there. Wow. Sorry, squirrel.
I knew that was going to happen.
Roll call.
Commissioner McPhail.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Up next, we have administrative and informational topics. We will begin with staff and elected officials' reports. Up first, we have a sales and use tax report with Christine Cowan, our budget and finance officer for Fremont County. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Morning.
I hope you all are safe and stay safe during this inclement weather. So for our first slide, we are looking at our retail sales tax collection through December of 2021. Total collected was $743,154, and for the year of 2021, $1,432,305 over our budgeted projected amount. Total for 2021 totaled $8,424,110. On to the auto use tax. For the auto use tax of January 2022, $116,103 was collected, only $696 over the 2021 timeframe. Construction use tax, please keep in mind that Canyon City did stop collecting this in mid-2022. For January 22, $13,079 was collected. Budgeted amount, which did include at the time Canyon City, was $16,667. For our lodging tax, through December 2021, $81,518 was collected, and for the entire year, we had $371,687 collected. This was $142,146 over our projected amount, for 2021. Our sheriff's retail tax for December 2021 was $495,436. For the year of 2021, $954,878, which was over our budgeted projected amount. Total for 2021 of the sheriff's retail tax collection was $5,616,081. Our sheriff's auto use tax for January of 2022, $77,402, just a tad bit, $464 over the 2021 timeframe. And our construction use tax, again, please take into consideration Canyon City stopped collecting fourth quarter. Construction use tax for January 2022 was $6,155. That's all I have.
Those are some pretty big numbers.
Yes, it seems like we have turned the corner as far as economic-wise.
It certainly would appear so. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Christine. Any questions, comments?
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you. Elected officials, gentlemen, I will ask my fellow commissioners if you have reports you would like to make this morning.
Sure, I got a little bit, kind of a 30,000-foot view. Commissioner Bell and I just got back from Washington, D.C., where we had a legislative conference, and we're able to meet with commissioners from all over the country through national associations of counties. But my focus is on public lands. As most of you know, we're 56% public, 56% public lands in Fremont County. They're pretty important as far as economical drivers and everything else, but the biggest trouble that you might say that we have is fire. So a real hot topic in DC, all the western counties, all the western states are in the same boat because of the mountains and the dying forest. Forest health is of utmost importance, but also to try to get the federal government to understand that fire mitigation and cleaning up these forests that are dead and dying is part of the problem. We're having hot, big, huge fires. So we had a lot of good sessions on that with folks from the Department of Interior, the U.S. Forest Service, BLM. They know finally that there's a problem, and that's part of the problem. So we're helping work on that with those folks, and hopefully we'll see some stuff happening. They have some specific areas in Colorado, and we're not one of them, but just north of us and just west of us is one, but specific areas they're going to target first where these forests are in very, very bad shape. Hoping to help spread that throughout the whole state because it needs it everywhere. So they're really hot topics, but also to go along with that is the NEPA, the National Environmental Protection Agency, where you have to go through a whole environmental study to do anything. Well, they're trying to change the definition of that. So we've been concerned about that one because we have to do a NEPA study just to clean drainage ditches, which we have to clean drainage ditches or roadside ditches. But if they make us do a NEPA process every time, sometimes those can stretch out 2 and 3 years. So we're trying to help them with those conversations as well and get our ideas in on how we can still clean our storm drains but not have to go through those processes and be environmentally friendly. So it's a lot of interesting topics. That's a real high level because we can get way down into the weeds, but you guys have better things to do today. But just wanted to kind of bring that up again, and we're working on it on a state level and national level as well, and it's huge. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Grantham?
Just sort of along the same lines, the two of you going to the NACO conference, we've of course all been involved with the Colorado counties, and you guys have for years, and me for the last year now, from a different perspective. But we've been dealing with some of the legislation that is being presented right now in the Colorado State Legislature, some good, some bad. Probably one of the most prominent ones right now has to do with collective bargaining, which we're working with some of our other counties, especially Colorado, where this bill would actually force collective bargaining upon all the counties in the state. It is already optional for those that want collective bargaining. They can allow it, and those that want it already have it. And so it's one of those things that could do some serious harm to our financial stability out here in the rest of Colorado outside of the metro area. So we're working on that, working with the sponsors, and hopefully going to defeat that bill. One of the other bills that we're working on is with our coroner. The Colorado counties are divided into 6 categories based roughly on their sizes. We are a Category 2 county, and anything less than a Category 1 county, the coroners have been part-time for 100 and however many years. And several of the Category 2 counties are in need of a full-time coroner, including Fremont County. He is essentially, our coroner is essentially right now a full-time coroner with part-time pay, which I'm familiar with, being up in the legislature. It's a full-time job with part-time pay. We don't need to do that for our county folk. The reality is we need a full-time coroner, and we don't have statutory authority to do that. And so this bill would allow counties to move into a full-time status if they so desire. That's the basics, maybe oversimplified a bit, but we're working on that to help those counties that need that do that. And so that's my 2 cents for today.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to tag on to Commissioner Macphail's comments about being in Washington, D.C. last week. It was a very interesting week. We had the opportunity to hear from our president. We heard from the Speaker of the House. We heard from several of the cabinet members, our secretaries here in the United States. And the last day we were there, we had the opportunity to visit with both of our Colorado senators to try to hold their feet to the fire for things that are important to rural Colorado. So I think we got a lot of really good, interesting things done last week. He follows public lands, while I serve on a steering committee for agriculture and rural affairs, which is also incredibly important here in Fremont County. This year I was able to pass through a national resolution depoliticizing the discussion around agriculture and climate change. And that was approved in my committee. It also was approved by the NACO board as an interim resolution, which it can only be interim until it goes to the annual conference in July, which is actually going to be held in Adams County here in Colorado. So we'll still keep working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to get that passed through. So again, it was a really interesting time. We heard from a lot of firepower people there, and we're able to have some really, really good discussions and to talk to them about how some legislation that is either in the works or being proposed would affect rural Colorado. So again, we're out there speaking up, and people are hearing our voices. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about quickly this morning is what we refer to as a reverse 911. Fremont County has the opportunity for every citizen to go online and to sign up with your telephone number, whether it's a landline or your cell phone number, to receive alert messages. If there is a blizzard, if there's a flood, if there's a fire, anything that may be happening that could affect you at your residence or at your business, depending on what kind of a telephone number you put in and the address. So it's really quick and simple to do. I'm going to walk you through it. Our county manager, Sunny, has it up on the screen. If you go to fremontco.com, this is our Fremont County website, click on Other Resources, where she is right now. Go down and click on FreeCom 911 Alert Fremont. Middle of the page there, you will see Register for FreeCom 911 Alert. And I'm going to assume that if you need to do this, you're going to need to create an account. So go down to the bottom of the page, click on Sign Up, and start filling in the information. That way you also will be able to receive all of those notifications. And I hope you're aware that Fremont County within the last year or so actually changed carriers for this kind of a reverse 911 service notification system. So if you signed up, but it's been years ago, you do have to sign back up again. We were not able to import all of that old information into the new database. So if you're unsure, please go check it out and figure out if you're signed up or not. We want you all to stay safe.
Landlines are signed up.
Landlines are already signed up. Okay, landlines are already signed up. So if you
Just cell phone.
haven't signed up your cell phone and need to get that done, this is your opportunity. All right, thank you all. Okay, anything else, gentlemen?
No, ma'am.
All right, this is now an opportunity for all citizens here who may wish to address this board on a matter not on today's agenda. Do we have anyone here in our audience today that would like to stand and speak? All right, seeing none, we will move on. We have no old business for consideration today, so we'll jump right into new business. Our first item for consideration today is one of the things that we as a board truly love having the ability to do, and this is the ability to recognize people in our community for the good works that they do. So this item is the nomination of Carol Mcnew for Outstanding Civic Leader of Fremont County. We have with us several folks, I believe, this morning who would like to stand and speak. I think we will start with Jerry Collette. And if you're one of those who would like to stand up and speak in honor of Carol, please fill out one of these forms available on that table right over there and bring it up to the podium. Thank you. Good morning, Jerry. If you would turn on your microphone, that button right in the middle. There you go.
All right.
Good morning.
And I noticed it was difficult to understand some of you. You need to talk closer to that phone, I think, right? Anyway, yes, I'm Jerry, and I'm here particularly to represent Friends of the Museum and History Center. And this is to do with Carol Mcnew. Carol, listen to the first part of that name, Care. Carol. It stands for pleasantly caring and thoughtfully to young and old, to members of all of our community, which just happens, this community, to be nestled in a canyon, basically known for its prisons, but for the show-off bridge, the suspended one, okay? C, Carol, confidently championed the collecting of both big and little planned and accidental events and happenings and circumstances. Did you count how many words I used that started like Carol? 10. Now let's look at the second letter, A, for Carol.
Jerry, if you would just address this board,
Okay.
please, and refrain from turning to the audience. Thank you.
Yes. A in Carol relates to an amicable and ambitious worker bee to search and add the comings and the goings of people and places and parts of the Arkansas River, as appears in many published articles. Not all of them have her name on it. R in Carol was naturally responsive to improved and updated methods of researching for documents and proof considering historical events. O in Carol shows that she was obligatory to present information in an orderly, systematic method. L, last but not least, she literally and enthusiastically demonstrated loyalty prime to Fremont County, to its history, as can be observed in even the book that she did publish with her name on it, The Land Beyond the Gorge, as well as many delightful articles that were published recently in the Crusader. Every time I enter the south entrance of this building, and I see that plaque of the outstanding leaders of Fremont County, I am reminded of the sacrifices, their efforts, their use of their skills, and their actions, and their pure love of this community that has actually formed a rich, quality tapestry that we are enjoying and generations after us will continue to enjoy. And that's why I urge you to join the several winning teams by supporting and honoring Carol Mcnew by placing her name on the plaque of the outstanding leaders of Fremont County. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Up next, we have Cindy Macphail.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Jerry's kind of a hard act to follow, but I never knew Carol very well personally, but I knew her through my parents, William and Carol Lee Schrader. They worked with her extensively on the Pathway into History's signs up the canyon, if any of you have seen them or are aware of them. I know she spent so many hours with that project and other projects, many. And when I finally got involved again in the history, she was there, and I was so thrilled that she still was. I can't imagine any person more qualified to be on your outstanding civic leader plaque. I mean, that's who she was. She was dedicated to history. She was dedicated to her community. So I definitely think you should include her.
Thank you, Cindy. Gloria Stoltz. Good morning,
morning.
Gloria.
Good morning. How nice to see all of your bright, shiny faces. Thank you for this opportunity. I am here to support the award of Outstanding Civic Leadership Award for Carol Mcnew. I am representing today the Historical Society, of which I am chair of. I've known and worked with Carol for over 20 years. She was a mover and a pusher. She didn't let little things get in her way when she was determined to get something done. She also didn't mince words, which is why we got along so well, because we could just talk really frankly to each other and still be friends and working together afterwards. We've lost a leader, a grand leader. Our Historical Society board we're all kind of looking at each other like, okay, now what do we do? I mean, she just was always there. She always had an answer for something. And she was the kind of leader that reached out and found resources. She got people involved, which I think is a really important aspect of being a leader, is to gather people and show your passion and find other people that have the same passion. So I think we all would like, in our passing, to be missed, to be remembered. But for Carol, she's left a void, a huge void in this entire county. So I think this is a very appropriate award for her, and she would be very proud to receive it. We put together, shortly after her death, I posted on Facebook, which has certainly its drawbacks, but within 3 days, we got this book full of comments about the surprise of losing her, and I would like to give this to you guys to have as a consideration for her receiving this award.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you. And up next, Mark Peacock.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for having us here today to speak on behalf of this nomination. Carol Mcnew was indeed a very special leader in our county. My interactions with her centered around the senior mini college out at PCC Fremont campus. where she was a tireless and devoted, dedicated, and passionate teacher. She taught many classes, including classes on, of course, one was entitled The Heroes of the Legends of Western Fremont County. I like that title. She gave tours at Greenwood Pioneer Cemetery, and she taught another class on historic churches of Canyon City. She was endlessly interested in everything Fremont and wanted to not only research it, but then share it. And all those wonderful treasures she found, she wanted to share those with everyone. And in that, she kept memory alive, and that's an important function in any community. And she did that with great ability and talent, and as I mentioned, passion. She was faithful in her participation in the Senior Mini College Steering Committee for many years. This is the group that does the work behind the scenes. The Senior Mini College draws on non-COVID years, 300 participants, and we have 100 different classes. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and Carol was always willing to roll up her sleeves and pitch in. She participated in taking photographs and writing newsletter articles. She had that great love of this place and a great promoter of Fremont County and of lifelong learning. She gave of her time and her talents. She shared her passion. She was an example of outstanding civic involvement and of leadership and lifelong learning. Her passing leaves a big void for us as a campus and for us as a county and communities here in Fremont. And so I would ask that you give your full consideration to this nomination. It is quite deserved, and we miss Carol greatly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Would anyone else like to rise and speak? Please come forward.
Good morning.
Margaret Storm, good morning.
Good morning. I really wasn't going to speak, but is Sunny or anybody going to read the letter that we wrote and that consolidation list of all the organizations that signed it?
Sure, we can do that. You bet.
That would have helped me out because I can't read it.
We'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Grantham just volunteered to read that, and then I know I have comments. My fellow commissioners probably do as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, my honor to be able to read this. Dear Commissioners, the below listed organizations would like to posthumously nominate and recommend Carol Mcnew as the 2022 designated Outstanding Civic Leader of Fremont County. We have known Carol for as little as 3 years to more than a decade and a half. She was one of those rare individuals who exhibited principles, expertise, and passion that are symbols of a responsible, committed citizen. She authenticated outstanding leadership in each organization by encouraging the use of historic preservation ideas, efforts, and practices to draft their plans and goals. She spearheaded many projects such as the Prospect Heights Jail preservation. One specific civic skill that has become important is technological capability. It provides organizations opportunities to create competitive advantages. One of the simplest forms is the flash drive and PowerPoint presentations we use to empower our slideshows. We wish to honor our friend and colleague as one of those individuals with enduring records of accomplishments and who has demonstrated exceptional civic and charitable leadership. Sincerely, and all the undersigned here, Stephen Stoltz, President of the Canyon City Geology Club, Michael Madone with the Canyon City Historical Preservation Commission, Margaret Storm with the Florence Historical Archive and the Wetmore Hardscrabble Genealogical and Historical Society, Betsy Denny with the Fremont County Heritage Commission, Gloria Stoltz with the Fremont County Historical Society, Stacy Klein with the Museum of Colorado Prisons, Geraldine Collette with Friends of the Museum, Kathy Euland with the Greenwood Pioneer Cemetery Committee, Mark Peacock with PCC Fremont, and D. Stubbs with Spirits of the Past. So thank you all for that.
All right, thank you for reading that, Commissioner. I would say about Carol, she had a special affinity for our physical office upstairs for the Board of County Commissioners. You probably all are very well aware, Carol's husband served for a time as a Fremont County Commissioner as well. So I think she felt a little bit like she still belonged there, which she absolutely did. She felt so free to come into our office, which was perfect because we do have open door policies, and anyone who would like to come and speak with us, if we are there and have the time, we're happy to sit down and talk to anyone. But Carol was just a storm when she would come rolling in that door because I believe, as Gloria said, you know, she knew what she wanted and she was going to get there. And so we all had the opportunity to work with Carol many different times over the years. We also talk here at Fremont County a lot about institutional knowledge and about what happened back when. Well, when we talk about it, it always has to do with county government. But what I can tell you, I know for a fact, Carol was the institutional knowledge for all of Fremont County. She knew the history, she knew everything about everything, and maybe most commendable of all, she was willing and able to share that with everyone. So I really do appreciate seeing this nomination from all of you and would like to say thank you. So anything you would like to
Sure,
add?
Madam Chair, thank you. First of all, thank you guys for this nomination. It's pretty awesome. Jerry, and her name, Carol, you left out an A, I think, and that's admirable. She was such a lady to be admired. And anytime I had a question about anything history, who do you call? Carol. And I think what was kind of even more neat about that, Carol being from a totally different generation than me, but she says, now you text me or you send me an email because I'm a busy lady and I don't sit around. And I'm like, cool.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And she was, and that was the best ways to get a hold of her. So she was just a great lady. I admired her, respected her greatly, and once again, thank you for bringing this forward.
And just to pile on that, this, you know, sometimes we get some of these things that come before us, and you know, you have to wonder which way, you know, things are going to fall. But this is one of those easy calls. This woman was a force, and I think some of that has been brought out. I personally, knowing Carol, probably going back about 12 years now, she was just a great encouragement to me on the outside of the job of the historical aspect. Just every time I saw her, she was just a great encouragement to me. In many things, and then dealing with her on with Greenwood and some of the historical society and Heritage Commission stuff, definitely a force, and the knowledge that is contained there in her mind was astounding to me, and how much that little lady could know and remember. She forgot more than I will ever know about Fremont County history, and it is a void. I think Gloria and Mark, you both used that term, just the void that will have to be filled, and the wondering, Gloria, as you said, now what? Now what? Not having her in our presence, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it? To who she was and what she meant to Fremont County history, and she'll be sorely missed, and like I said, I think this is an easy call for us.
This is a beautiful picture of Carol. I'm not sure if we can zoom in on this at least a little bit to be able to remind folks of the outward beauty that she had as well as the inward beauty, because Carol really was a special person. This, I think, is a little bit of a bittersweet moment because we love recognizing people, but this is one of those awards that may only be done according to the rules posthumously. So thank you again, all of you, for bringing this to us this morning. And I would like to approve the nomination of Carol Mcnew. I move to approve the nomination of Carol Mcnew for the Outstanding Civic Leader of Fremont County.
I'll second that.
I'll second it too.
I like that. And before we vote, I will say we will be adding her name to the plaque that's upstairs. Once the county administration team has ordered her name and the information and has it ready, we will contact all of you and allow you to come and do a small ceremony there in our doorway if you would like to do that. All right, further discussion?
Just wait till it warms up a little.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yes. All right, let's do roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McPhail.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks again for being here today. Well, that is going to be hard to follow, but we're going to try to do it anyway because we do have more business to conduct this morning. So moving along with new business, we have next before us the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, Royal Gorge Lodge number 2866, is requesting approval of a special events permit for malt, Venice, and spirituous liquor for an event at the Canyon City Recreation Building at 575 Ash Street in Canyon City on March 13th, 2022, from 12 noon to 5 p.m. And we have with us this morning member John Carochi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, you want to tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Well, first of all, we don't serve any of the wine or whatever we have there for 5 hours. We only serve from 2 to 4.
Okay.
Just so you understand, the entire time is so that we can set up and clean up.
All right. Thank you for that
If we serve
clarification.
for 5 hours, that would be dangerous.
The sheriff might not have given
Even
his
though we have
approval for
little
that.
pores, it still would be rough. But
Thank you.
Just as a note. And I know a lot of you have been to the ones that we've had in the past.
Yes.
We've had 7 or 8, I can't remember how many exactly, and they were all out at the Pueblo Community College Fremont campus, and I know Mark is present, and he knows I've been calling him to see if we could have one, and the state has not been generous enough to let us do that out there yet. So we found a new venue, and this will be the first one we've had at the rec district, and we're kind of excited to have something different and be able to have a wine tasting and a gathering that we haven't been able to do for quite a while. We're very familiar with the rules, the laws, the liquor laws. We have our servers are all either trained bartenders, they own an establishment, they go through the training that the state provides. We have to make sure of that. We have other people that take care of filling water and dumping the little buckets that people pour wine into that they don't want. And so we're real familiar with the regulations, and those people are not certified to pour, but they are. We have a lot of volunteers that like to help because they also like to sample. So,
Okay. All right. We may have questions for you in a moment, but first we're going to turn, I believe, to our county clerk for a staff report.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. We received the completed application along with the $100 check on January 24th of 2022. That met the 45-day guideline. And the application was reviewed by the county attorney, the sheriff's office, and the Fremont County Department of Public Health, and they all recommended approval. The application also submitted proof of posting at least 10 days before the hearing on 2/11 of 2022.
All right, thank you. I have one question for you,
Yes.
Mr. Carochi. You did address very well the qualifications of those who will be serving. How will you be checking IDs and ensuring that you will not be serving anyone under the age of 21?
well, we have a couple ways. We have 2 people that collect the money and check the IDs, and we don't allow anybody in there if they're not 21. I mean, no children, no somebody coming along. So everybody in the building will be checked, their IDs. We use, like we do at our Italian festival, we have our little checkers that put in birth dates and that sort of thing, or they show an ID. And Bill Scooty and Rosie are the police at the door. And
They make pretty good policemen. I know them.
Yeah, they do. So,
Okay, all right, thank you. Further questions?
That was the only question I had.
So,
So before we go to a motion and a vote, I would like to ask if you would like to let folks know how they can get tickets. If they need tickets, can they just show up? For those who would like to participate, how should they get in touch?
Well, we have posters that we're going to be putting around town. We have information on our website. We have information on, and all this, people are so technical anymore that they can find it. Facebook, a lot of those things, I don't even know what they are, you know, Twitter and that sort of thing. But anyway,
Carol
we do.
knew, John.
That's right.
Carol.
I have a comment about Carol too in a minute if I can make it. But yeah, my phone number is on the poster, 429-6667. Everybody, I mean, I'm usually the contact for most of the events that our Sons and Daughters of Italy host, because I'm the event coordinator. So
Okay, and
easy
again,
to find tickets.
all right, and again, this will be held on a Sunday, on
Yes.
March 13th from 2 to 4 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, all right. All in? All right,
Madam Chair,
you ready for a motion?
I would move that we approve the request for a special events permit for malt, Venice, and spirituous liquor for an event at the Canyon City Recreation District Building, 575 Ash Street, Canyon City, March 13, 2022, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the Order of the Sons of and Daughters of Italy in America.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve this special events permit as set forth. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McPhaul.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
Thanks, John.
Would it be okay if I made a comment about Carol Mcnew?
Certainly.
Quick, I didn't fill
Yes.
out one of these. I'd be happy to do it. My dad was mayor of Florence for 12 years, and he's been gone 30 years. But I have to tell you that years and years ago, when I was in college and even late in high school and after I got out of college, he worked with Carol on various things. He was active with the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments, and hearing the name Carol Mcnew, he worked with her, and I'm struggling to remember just what it was, but it was mostly charitable organizations they worked together on. That's how long. That's a little piece of history that goes way back.
Thank you for
Thanks,
that.
John.
There's a
Thanks.
lot of those little pieces of history, I think, with her. The final item on our agenda today is a resolution and letter of support with a $3,000 funding commitment to participate in the Colorado Department of Higher Education's Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, also known as COSI. Are you teeing this up for us this morning,
I
Commissioner
can.
McFall? Please do.
I can wing it. No, so the COSI Scholarship, it's offered through the Department of Education from Colorado, but what it is matching scholarships for youth in our area in all three school districts. It's based on the parents' contribution to those children's future college. What is it, the FICO score, Mark? Is that what it is? On the FAFSA? It's got to be low, and it can't be over a certain number for these kids to qualify. And then they have other local scholarships that the COSI matches that to. And we have, for 7 years now, I think it is, that the county has also put $3,000 into this fund so that these kids have a better chance of getting to college and making it more accessible. As you know, college is getting very, very expensive and harder for some of these kids to attain. I think it's probably more difficult now with the COVID protocols and stuff that are in place. So what this is to do is to approve a letter of support with $3,000 funding from Fremont County for participation in the Colorado Department of Higher Education and Colorado Opportunity Scholarship, and have that available for the local. These are all Fremont County kids, and they have to attend this Colorado university or college in order to qualify.
All right, thank you. Questions, comments? I just would say you're right. We have been doing this for quite a few years now. Former Commissioner Ed Norden was the one who helped organize this entire program when it became available to Coloradans. So kudos to him, John Merriam. There are a lot of other folks that I could name who have been involved in this from the beginning, and some of those folks still continue to be involved. And this is one of those cases, it really is all about the kids. That's what they do all of this for. So very commendable effort, so I'm prepared to accept a motion.
I have a motion for you. One quick other comment was this money from the state also has to come through a nonprofit organization. The one that did it previous to this year was Fremont Community Foundation, decided they didn't want to do it anymore, so we had to reach out and find a new nonprofit for this money to come from the state through, to and through. And Boys and Girls Club of Fremont County has stepped up to do that. So, which I think is a perfect situation. Those kids that get to partake in the Boys and Girls Club are also those kids that are right in line for these scholarships. So that's an awesome combination right there. So thanks to the Boys and Girls Club of Fremont County. With that, I need a resolution number.
12.
Number 12. Resolution, I move to approve resolution number 12, which is a resolution and a letter of support with $3,000 funding commitment to participate in the Colorado Department of Higher Education Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 12 and the letter of support for a $3,000 funding commitment to participate in the Colorado Department of Higher Education's Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McPhail.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
One more note before we adjourn. I would like to let folks know, because we do record all of our meetings, there now is a link in the video chat to that emergency reverse E911 system that we talked about a little earlier. So if you missed the link and don't know how to get to it, go online, find that video. It will be posted on fremontco.com. It also is on Facebook, and we have the link posted there. So I want to say thank you to IT for doing that for us. All right, with that, I believe we have no further business coming before this board, so we are adjourned.